I'm driving on 295, 35 miles an hour. So I figured I might as well do this now rather than wait till get home. Got to watch Cincy game, which looked like a bigger piece of shit than the Green Bay game. Coming off of Peterson saying, we'll see who wants to be here, doing the old coaches speak of, let's see what they got and check everybody's will to win with this team and not giving up now that their chances are shot. And they come out with, what, 29-0 they answer with? Looked really good. Zach Ertz laid that one block for Wentz, which spoke volumes early. I think it was the second series. It told you right there what's going on with the team. Ertz gets a lot of criticism for being soft, not being able to break tackles, stuff like that. Well, that was a heart play there, and obviously wasn't working hard enough to do that. Defense couldn't stop again. I don't know quite off the top of my head what the third down percentage was for them. Now, the Eagles were almost 50%, but they had a shitload of opportunities. They did a little better this time, but those stats, all Wentz's stats are going to be skewed because you got a team that was trying to come back. And Cincinnati probably went to a prevent fairly early, being up so much, so a lot of those little shit yards are going to be there. The defense giving up huge chunks. Secondary doesn't turn around on passes, which is extremely frustrating to see that when the ball's hanging in the air and secondary doesn't turn around and look for it to pick it up to get a pick. Also doesn't help that your defense has 0 sacks once again, and they can't get any pressure. They blitz a little bit, but I haven't paid attention enough to see exactly where the blitz is coming from, if it's blindside blitz, and if they show it so much, or they disguise that when they don't blitz. I haven't really seen it so much. I do know that they got the secondary playing way off the receivers continuously, which, the timing routes are going to be unaffected by that. When the Eagles hired Peterson, and I'm not, I know a lot of people are yelling about him getting fired already. I don't see it happening. I don't think Lurie's going to go from, 14 years with Reed to 3 years with Chip to 1 year with Doug. I can't see that, especially when Andy, supposedly I heard somebody who knows coaching staff from Kansas City when they were here had told me that Lurie contacted Reed to come back as a GM, and he turned Lurie down. And the whole thing with Peterson with the secretary and all that story started breaking out there in KC, and then he pushed for Lurie to take Peterson, which the guy's he had a job that he didn't even call plays. That whole time thing in the playoffs was ridiculous with the excuse that they gave there between Reed and Peterson. Nobody, I don't believe he interviewed for any other team. I couldn't see why. He doesn't have much of a resume there. But with that hire with Peterson, I think I was going to give him a chance. I didn't like him as a player, which really doesn't, translate into much, because a lot of guys who aren't great players get to see from a different angle, and they actually start watching the game as a coach. I know with baseball, when I started coaching baseball and doing lessons and stuff, I learned so much more that way, because you see it a different way and you get to process the game differently. So thinking, all right, well, maybe it's possible. So I wasn't on, I didn't really have an opinion of Peterson. If I did have an opinion, it was not optimistic. I'll be honest with that. Those first 3 games, the preseason games, defenses aren't scheming in preseason, and they look great there. And the first 3 games of the season, they looked very good. Book got out on them. They started looking at Wentz a little differently, because he didn't have any work done, and they didn't have anything on him. And after a little bit, teams start picking up on it and they start making adjustments. Eagles have not made any adjustments. With the hiring of Peterson and bringing Reich in as a coordinator, which I don't even know what the hell he does. I think he's stealing money more than Larry Boa does with the Phillies bench, because he obviously doesn't do shit either. But picking up Schwartz, a guy who was, a coordinator before, was a head coach, I'm like, all right, this is basically going to be Schwartz's team. He's got a resume. Granted, it was with Detroit and they suck, but he's been there. He knows a little bit. He'll be the defensive coordinator. They'll take his identity. He's a rah-rah guy, and it'll be kind of fun. It looked pretty good in the beginning, and then again, the team started scheming for it, how they're going to handle the defense when you're only running 4 guys constantly. These see holes through there. It's not like they're reinventing the wheel. There's pros and cons from any defense that you're going to run, and then you got to be able to adjust. And they have pretty decent personnel on that defensive side, and they still can't do anything about it. So the whole thing, it's just a pretty much big shit show right now to see what they're doing right now, especially after Peterson called them out. Which, if he's going to love on them and all that emotional intelligence and all that other bullshit that Lurie wanted to push out there, and that if you're going to be too nice like that, it ain't going to work. You gotta come down on these guys. They're grown men, and they've been in that football scenario, that mentality where getting yelled at is pretty much the way of football. Hopefully Peterson does something like that. I don't know. I don't know what the hell he does, but evidently whatever he's doing isn't working. Cox was already making some comments about the defense, and I'm sure everybody already heard that Wentz had an issue with Peterson when Peterson was saying that his mechanics are off, which they are off. It's clear he's throwing off his back foot, and the ball's getting up in the air. And Wentz disagreed. He actually came back with, when you throw the ball 60 times, you're going to have some bad ones. Well, that's true, but it doesn't give you an excuse to fall off your back foot either. And that probably was a little bit of frustration out of him too, because he knows he's been shitting the bed lately, which is basically the 2016 Eagles motto. Pretty much, they've shit the bed really bad with a 3-0 start. Lack of adjustments, lack of talent, and I know that Peterson can't make those calls, and it's kind of difficult, obviously, with the lack of talent that he has. But a decent coach is going to be able to make that work. When you turn over your roster as much as the Eagles did, I said this last week, when you turn over that roster, you expect some fall. You just expect some fallout with the style of play. You're not going to get everybody on the same page right away, especially when you got so many people trying to learn a new scheme. But to do the same stupid ass plays where nothing gets drawn up, and they're really not much of a yards after a catch. Turner actually had a few. The big knock on him was, he's slow. He got open for 6 catches or whatever it was, and he pulled in 70 or 80 yards. That's not too bad coming off a guy that couldn't sniff the field for half the season. That barely got in as the practice squad guy. Which scares the hell out of me, because if this kid was effective as much as he was, who the hell is doing their talent evaluating saying that he wasn't good enough? Why? Because the other guys had the money contracts. He outperformed Aguilar, and he did better than Beckham. So it's a little scary in that whole part of the franchise. Their talent evaluators, how they're calling the plays, how they're recognizing things. It's the season's over. Let's go back to Cincinnati real quick. That 29-0 game, and still passing. You have problems. Do you really think you're going to come back and win that ball game? Nobody in their right mind. The players knew. You could tell by the way they were playing. They knew they weren't going to win the game. How about you change things up and then treat it like a practice? What the hell? Wave the white flag. Treat it like a practice. Try running some different plays. Try running the ball. Wentz, I think, was 3 yards underneath the lead for the rushing for the Eagles that day. They didn't run the ball much. I know they were 14 in a hole right away, or 10 nothing. I forget what it was. But at least try something different. Do something different. And stop running the same goddamn play over and over, where defenses are going to see it. You throw the ball downfield. I don't care if the kid can't catch it or if he's not fast enough or whatever. Just air it out once in a while. At least you might get some type of separation. You might. And then you can give it to the sissy-ass Ertz and let him try to do something with it. Or utilize Burton. Burton seems a little like he's got a little bit more heart. Maybe Peterson could nut up a little bit there and sit Ertz for a little while and let Burton take some. Selleck's got to be done pretty soon. I don't know how much more life he's got left in his legs. But Ertz definitely isn't the answer. He's another one with the contract, and Curry's the contract, and Cox has got the big contract. So pretty scary the way it is right now. If they can get 2 wins out of these next few, it'd be nice. Spoil a little bit. Dallas is going to have that bye. They'll probably play a little bit and then get out. I don't think they'll be sitting their guys. I don't think they want them sitting that long. Probably see Sanchez, which would be fun. But overall, this season is shot. Flyers are on a 5-game win streak. They play tonight. Be interesting to see how they do. Probably, as soon as they start getting a little bit of publicity and people start getting back on board with them, they'll come down. As long as the people start wooing, getting everybody back and get on board with them. But Sixers suck. That's going to continue until Simmons gets there, and then Brown leaves. Then they might have a chance actually doing something. Philly's got a closer. That's great. They can't get a goddamn lead to get a closer utilized, but hey, whatever. Let's go sign closers. Get some goddamn bats in the lineup. I have a lot of not hatred. I have a lot of passion for baseball and a lot of aggravation when it comes to the Phillies. More so than with the Eagles. Because the Eagles, you could see that coming a mile away what the hell they're doing. And the lack of productivity from that team. But see how things go this week. Hopefully the Eagles can do something interesting, make it fun to watch a little bit, give us a little bit of heart, a little bit of enthusiasm on the style of play. Maybe try to work on an identity by the end of the season. Highly doubt it. They're already canceling, in-season plans. So looks like they're going to be looking for booking vacations. So you guys have a good week. I will talk to you later.